I mean, it's like every other technology in the world, right? Just like writing, just like fire, just like a hammer. It could be used for good or for bad.
Mhm.
We know that governments, and this is not to be or try to like enter into the whole conspiracy territory, but it's like we know that governments like they love control, right? And what a better way to control your society or the people that you govern over than realizing what they consume, where they consume, and be able to analyze and track everything that they do. Right now, with cash, they cannot do that. They
Mhm.
can do that with your bank account, this and that. Right now, if you send over $600 to PayPal, now you have to pay taxes to that. You have to report that, right? So they do little things like that they have access to. Cash is the one thing they don't have access to.
All right, what's up, everyone? Welcome back to another freshly minted Fantom Edge. I have a very special guest, Jorge Pérez. I've met him since I've been in the space, virtually, not physically, not in
Virtually,
the
yes.
yeah, not in real life yet. But Jorge, how are you, man? Thank you for being here.
Pretty good, man. No, thank you for the invitation. I'm excited to be here and to speak about the one thing that we love the most,
Yeah.
blockchain and everything that's going on in the ethos of Web3.
Yeah, man, and like I mentioned, we've been in connection since the beginning. You're one of the first people that in the Web3 space that I've connected. You've been very consistent. You're a fellow Latino, right? So I think there's a lot of different connections, different conversations that we've had in Twitter Spaces. But nonetheless, man, we were having a good conversation before this started about
Mm-hmm.
what you currently do, right? You had an agency, and then you were talking to me a little bit about transitioning into Web3. But can you kind of elaborate a little bit more on that story about what the process
Of
is right
course.
now and what you're going through right now?
Of course, just to give a little bit of context, I have for the last 8 years of my life, I have dedicated my life pretty much to build this marketing agency. So it started as pay advertising, and then I realized, you know what? In order for me to be truly effective, I have to do a lot of A/B testing. So I have to take care of the creative, so that way it's a lot faster for me. Instead of me waiting for my clients to give me the new art, the new all the new creatives, I'm like, I'm just gonna take care of it. So that's how it started to evolve, right? So that's also a clear example how you start with an idea, but the market always shows you where you have to go. So yeah, I have been doing that for the past 8 years, and like I was telling you, right now I'm in a point where I realized that now it's time for something different, and I realized that I don't like to manage, right? I
Mhm.
love to build, I love to create, I love the whole startup energy of it.
Yeah.
But once to get to a point where you have to manage over more than 100 people, it's like you become more just like an HR type of person, even though just management. So
Yeah.
I decided to hire somebody to take care of the CEO role to keep scaling the business while
Yeah.
I move into something else. Now I can actually focus all my energy into Web3 while I want to build with AI as well, but
Yeah.
mainly Web3, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, right now I'm in that transitional period this weekend, right? Where like right now I want to go get into my phone, check my emails, but I know I don't have to reply to them because somebody else is going to take care of that
Yeah.
on Monday. I'm going to still going to be there, guiding the new CEO,
Yeah.
just like a few things, like just average type of stuff that I have to communicate with him.
Yeah.
But other than that, yeah, now I'm ready for this new period of my life where now I know I realize what I'm good at, what I'm not good at,
Yeah.
and there is a point where you know what somebody it's gonna be way better at this than me.
Yeah.
So I'd rather just go back to the starting new things,
Yeah.
developing businesses from the ground up, which is what I really enjoy to do.
I think, as I told you, I think it's very important for other leaders to kind of get that type of insight from you because sometimes being a leader, man, there's a lot of ego, right? It's hard to let go of something or give someone
So
else
hard.
control. Like you just mentioned, like you have that startup grind in you, but now you're hiring a new CEO. For someone's like, what do you mean? I am the CEO, right? It's hard to
And
let
like I was
go.
telling you, for the past 8 years, I
Yeah.
was CEO. And so now,
Yeah.
like I mentioned, I feel naked. Now that I know that I'm not, I'm like, I feel like something is gonna come attack me from behind. I have no idea how I feel. It's hard to describe,
Yeah.
but it's now how to like, and now I need to realize what I'm gonna do with 11 hours of my day that used to be occupied with the whole managing stuff like that. So it's
Yeah.
like it's a trip. It's a
Yeah,
trip. It's a
man.
trip.
Yeah. I know you do a lot of research for both of your newsletters, right? You have one for crypto and you have now a
Mhm.
new one for AI that you just announced. I think you have over 120 subscribers now, right?
Right. I launched it 6 days ago
Yeah.
and it went. I was surprised. I was like, I'm only going to pull, I only made like two publications.
Yeah.
But what I like about the platform that I'm using is that it also it's SEO driven.
Mm,
So if you like craft it correctly and also like from the back end you do the right, SEO
yeah.
optimization, it's able to be discovered by people. So that's how I got there. But yeah, I have to. It's called Web3 en Corto, which is dedicated on Web3
Yeah.
NFTs. And then I have AI Supernova, which
Yeah.
is like the whole universe of artificial intelligence.
Amazing, man. What I wanted to ask you, like I said, you spend a lot of time in crypto, right? A lot of things have changed. Still, arguably, still in a very bearish market, and a lot of things are happening out in the traditional finance world with bank runs and things like that, right? What and the big topic that's been up and coming is the CBDC, right? I want to get
Mhm.
your sentiment. Is a CBDC something that's expected? Do you think it'd be good? What's your opinion on this?
I mean, it's like every other technology in the world, right? Just like writing, just like fire, just like a hammer. It could be used for good or for bad.
Mhm.
We know that governments, and this is not to be or try to like enter into the whole conspiracy territory, but it's like we know that governments like they love control, right? And what a better way to control your society or the people that you govern over than realizing what they consume, where they consume, and be able to analyze and track everything that they do. Right now, with cash, they cannot do that. They
Mhm.
can do that with your bank account, this and that. Right now, if you send over $600 to PayPal, now you have to pay taxes over that. You have to report that, right? So they do little things like that they have access to. Cash is the one thing they don't have access to. So they know that this technology, the blockchain, it's good for that.
Yeah.
So I think they're gonna come. Absolutely, there is no way to truly, um, avoid that from happening.
Yeah.
However, I think uh, there will always be the option, for people who wants to use decentralized blockchain or use blockchains that are centralized by governments.
Yeah. Yeah. I've always been, since a topic has arose, like, let's say a few months ago, 6 months ago, when I first started kind of diving into CBDCs, it's
Right.
more like, it's cool, technology is being used, the technology we talk about, but now with, like, again, not to get political or anything, but the distrust with government, it's kind of like, what can they do with it, right? So, like you said, it's one of those things where it's like a hammer. It could be a weapon or it could be a tool. And that
Right.
kind of leads to my next question, which I'm curious about because I've been seeing this a lot. And now with you both in AI and Web3 blockchain, a lot of people might say that it's blockchain versus AI. Sometimes you see conversations on Twitter where, like, why is AI better than blockchain or Web3,
Mhm.
right? Do you think it's okay? Is it versus? Is it should they be in their separate lanes? Can they mesh together? Like, what's your thoughts on that?
I think what people are doing, that thing that you're saying that they put once against the other, that's the way we humans are able to process reality, right? We process things through contrast. It's either one thing or the other,
Mhm.
because that comes down to concepts. That's the way we process information, or that's the way our brain processes information through concepts.
Mhm.
So I think it's human nature to just literally do that,
Mhm.
put this against that. Um, I think AI by itself is a piece of technology that it's literally, and this is something that I have been saying for a while, and this is why I started to write about it.
Yeah.
I truly believe it's the catalyst for human
Mhm.
creativity, right? Most people see it as, oh, it's gonna take jobs away, it's gonna like
Mhm.
destroy the world. But man, there is an AI algorithm that can predict cancer, breast cancer, 4 years, 5 years before it starts to form.
Mhm.
And that is incredible, right? That is incredible because normally minorities are, there is like a huge discrepancy on accuracy because, tone of the skin and certain different variations uh, in their bodies that they don't allow for technology that we have nowadays to be effective the
Yeah.
way it is effective for a white woman.
Yeah.
So AI can literally take care of all those things, can find solutions for problems that we have been having for a while.
Yeah.
That is going to destroy some jobs. Absolutely. There's a study that shows that it's predicted that by 2030 there is
Mhm.
going to be around 300 million jobs destroyed, disappear
Yeah.
through AI.
Yeah.
But there is also the other side of the coin. There are going to be plenty more jobs available for people. So now that's going to start opening the conversation for universal income for people, it's going to start opening different conversations that we're going to start actually that we actually as society need to talk about,
Mhm.
but I don't think it's one against the other. Um, I still don't understand why people think like AI and blockchain could be related. I
Mhm.
understand that the blockchain is literally just a database, right? I understand that. But other than that, like you can have probably algorithms or you can have like AI
Mhm.
doing performing certain tasks on the blockchain, but it's just a complementation. They both just complement each other. I don't think it's one against the other.
I'm on the same boat. On a personal level, I've always said, look, I think there's going to be some creative ways where AI could interact with blockchain. And I don't
Yeah,
think that it's AI, it should be AI versus blockchain or crypto, whatever it is,
at
right?
all.
Just because, I'll be honest though, crypto, I think is so financially driven. That's why we see a lot of negative sentiment towards it. Like you ask
Mm-hmm.
someone, they'll tell you about what happened with scams and things like that. You sell someone with AI, they either don't know what it is yet, or they saw an app where you could create your PFP, right? It's more consumer centric, a little bit more friendly in that sense. So I can see why, like you said, I like what you said, the contrast and how humans contrast that. But I think they're in their separate lanes. They both contribute to a new wave of technology, and we'll see in the future. My next question
Absolutely.
to you, Jorge, is crypto in Latin America. What do you think is one good use case for crypto adoption in Latin America for people like us?
Actually, it's funny because like I was having this conversation like this week at the beginning of this week or the past week, where we're talking about somebody asked me if I believe NFTs were going to be huge, if Latin America was going to lead in the NFT
Mhm.
market, and I just straight up say no, we're not going to, right? It's gonna be we're gonna interact with NFT technology a lot,
Mhm.
yes, but I don't think Latin America is gonna lead when it comes to NFTs. What I think is gonna lead is in protocols,
Mhm.
different protocols that allow people to have access to banking,
Mhm.
because like most people don't understand this, but um there is around 210 million people in Latin America. Yeah, 210 million people in Latin America who don't have access to a bank or any type of financial services. We are seeing nowadays how through protocols you are making a lot of that a lot easier for people. You don't need as much requirements. You don't it's truly decentralized, and that's what we need, right? And Latin America has a lot of problems that can't truly be solved
Mhm.
with this technology:
Mhm.
corruption, like I say, access to banking for many people.
Mhm.
We're able to through NFTs now you are able to again fight corruption, because now somebody cannot just come and mention, you know what, oh, you have to pay me, like, or you cannot just go to somewhere in Mexico and pay somebody like $1,000 for them to change the name in the title, in the home title from somebody else to your name,
Mhm.
which is something that you kind of can do right now, right?
Yeah.
So that's why I believe Latin America is going to be huge when it comes to protocols, because we have a lot of problems that can be solved through the blockchain, which is like a database that it's immutable. Nobody can touch it. Nobody can mess with it. And then we have some of what are known as solvent tokens, right? Which is also
Yeah.
an incredible technology. So that's my take. I truly believe Latin America is gonna be benefit. It's gonna benefit a lot from this
Yeah.
technology, which is why I'm bullish. And my content, the content that I create, it's in Spanish, right? To make
Yeah.
sure like these conversations get to people.
Yeah.
Normally, Latin America, it's always the second wave of people that adopt technologies.
Yeah.
First, we see, you know, USA and then Europe, and then and then USA and then Latin America and then Europe, or Latin America. It's always the third wave of adoption.
Yeah.
I want to make sure that all of us we are having these conversations that we're having in English, also in Spanish,
Yeah.
so more people are aware to it. Now, let's be honest. Um, in order for you to even know a little bit about crypto, that means that you have to have some sort of privilege in Latin America. You need to know how to use the computer, how to have a cell phone, right? Or how to have a laptop so you can start doing transactions, but how to buy crypto and whatnot. So everybody who maybe is listening to this, or anybody who actually can uh, create some type of change,
Yeah.
maybe sometimes the only limited that exists for them, it's the language barrier,
Mhm.
where they might not speak English, but they have access to a computer, to internet, to banking, etc., which is what they need to start creating that catalyst that's going
Yeah.
to transform Latin America, which is why I decided to make my content in Spanish.
Yeah. Yeah, very intentional, and you're absolutely right. I think there's a lot of barriers, barreras, getting in the way, but
Absolutely.
you're doing your part. And yeah, I like what you said, the contrast, NFTs, but then now you're like, okay, protocol level might be a lot more beneficial for somewhere like Latin America. The last question, Jorge, is I want to know what are you most bullish on for 2023 and the years to come, man?
Man, the mass adoption, the next bull market is gonna be crazy, right? And I'm saying this because we're seeing more and more companies that are well known, companies that are mainstream,
Mhm.
playing into the Web3 ecosystem in a really big way. We have Amazon coming into it. We already have Starbucks jumping in. We have Adidas. We have Nike. We have all these different companies that are trying to figure out how they can incorporate this technology into what they do. So the all this is just a to me, what it tells me is the fact that when we are in a really, really crazy like bear market,
Mhm.
and it could get worse, it could get better. Who knows? No one can tell, right?
Mhm.
But if they are doing all of this during this time and not during the bull market, then that means they know something that we might not know,
Yeah.
right? They can see they spend millions on millions in research. So
Mhm.
they're here not just to play around. They're here because they know and they see the opportunity. So that means that the next bull market, it's going to be 10, 50, 60, 100, 200 times way bigger than what we saw in 2021. So
Yeah.
that's what I'm bullish on. And also, like a lot of people who, what normally happens in bear markets, people who were here for the money or just for the rush, they're gone. Right
Yeah.
now, there are very few people. I mean, we saw it on Twitter Spaces, right? We saw like Twitter Spaces multiple times a day, every day. Now there's only a few.
Yeah.
Out of 100, there's maybe like 10 doing it right now.
Yeah.
So that always shows you that everybody who stays in the bear market, those are the ones that are actually going to build stuff because they understand the power of the technology, not just the money you can make with it, just the impact and the potential that you can have in the world in
Yeah.
generations just by putting in the time. So
Yeah.
that's what I'm bullish on.
Yeah, I think it's I'm on the same thing because we came in with a lot of excitement. People come and go, which is expected. There's bad players as expected, but like you said,
Right.
a lot of intentional people, and I want to make sure we highlight people who are here building real stuff across the ecosystem. So thank you, Jorge, for sharing your insight, man. You went, share a little bit about what you're doing as an agency, some of the good problems you're facing, to all your opinions and viewpoints on just the crypto ecosystem as a whole. So I appreciate you for sharing some time with me, man.
No, thank you, man, for the invitation. And I wish you nothing but the best, brother.
All right, brother. Un abrazo, bro. Nos vemos.
Take it easy, my man. Bye bye.